Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kryptonized. Joining me again is our favorite guest. I think now we're going to call him co-host for this one. Okay. And, Barnaby, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself real quick, but Barnaby has helped me on a number of projects, and he's got his own projects going on. Well, I'm not going to steal his thunder, but before we jump in, let's hear from Barnaby.
Yeah, it's great to be here with you today, Mark. Yeah, so we've been working together on different stuff for years now. I don't know how much you've told everybody about the project we've been working on the last 6 months or so. That's been pretty exciting. So maybe that's still under wraps, and everyone's going to.
It is. Yep.
So let's find out. Let's leave that one aside. And I've got a band royalty is really my biggest gig. So that's. I'm very excited about pushing that to market, this music NFT platform. But yeah, we met up years ago over in when we were at Davos, and just since then, you and I've been knocking away at DeFi and blockchain. I've always been passionate for decades about the difference that technology can make around e-commerce, and there's nothing better in e-commerce, as far as I'm concerned, as cryptocurrency. And It's the whole idea of decentralization, and especially at these times when we're seeing all sorts of crazy stuff happening with the economies around the world, especially the US economy, and when we're seeing some governments, even some Western governments, saying that they're going to freeze people's bank accounts if they don't comply with mandates. I don't know. I'm just saying it's weird.
Well, I mean, especially if it's Canada, right? You wouldn't expect Canada to do it, but they are doing it. And, they're just pushing people towards a crypto world by doing that. I don't know if they realize it or not. I don't know if they care or not, but, Trudeau seems to be panicking with his situation, doesn't he? He's just like all out, hey, we'll take your money from your account or freeze it without a court order. And by the way, banks have immunity.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act. These tools include strengthening their ability to impose fines or imprisonment.
As of today, all crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use must register with FINTRAC, and they must report large and suspicious transactions to FINTRAC. The government is issuing an order with immediate effect under the Emergencies Act, authorizing Canadian financial institutions to temporarily cease providing financial services where the institution suspects that an account is being used to further the illegal blockades and occupations. This order covers both personal and corporate accounts. Third, we are directing Canadian financial institutions to review their relationships with anyone involved in the illegal blockades and report to the RCMP or CSIS. As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order. In doing so, they will be protected against civil liability for actions taken in good faith.
This is outrageous. Where are the armed men who come in to take the protesters away? Where are they? This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Boracua. You shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists. You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses, you right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail. Undercook, overcook. You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up, believe it or not, jail, right away. We have the best patients in the world because of jail.
Yeah. Well, from the get-go, from many years ago, people were always saying that this was on the cards. People said that this is the sort of thing that could happen. But I think the majority of people clearly didn't believe that we would end up, well, we're not even ended up. Nothing's actually happened yet in this regard, but apparently it's imminent. And once we start seeing that happen, how far does it go? And then, but to your point, I think people, maybe that's why we saw a bit of a bump yesterday in Bitcoin. I made a joke about that. Like, hey, maybe Bitcoin went up yesterday a bit because of Trudeau saying that. And people are now
And then you think, well, this couldn't happen in the United States. But then you think of yourself, I mean, they've stopped me from doing transfers. They've stopped me from doing wires, all under the guise of, oh, we're just protecting your safety. Even though I'll call them up and prove I am who I am, and they still stop you from doing it. And you're like, what is going on here?
So
I don't
they're
remember
stopping
this
you
ever.
moving your money. That's what
Yeah.
they say, right?
Exactly.
So is it your money
And,
then?
what's that?
Is it your money then, if they can stop you?
Well, that's a big question mark, isn't it? Is it? And do they have control over it? And especially if they've got immunity, I mean, that's not a good situation. Anyway, so let's get to our main topic. We are going to talk about StrongBlock today. This is something my son's been begging me to invest in, but I'm really hesitant given what it is and what you need to do to get into it and where it could potentially go, especially with what's happened with time. But very interested in your perspective of this. But before we jump in, can you give us kind of a quick synopsis on what StrongBlock is?
StrongBlock is a node reward platform. So while validators on blockchains get rewards, the node operators don't, basically, which is kind of strange on the one hand. But basically, StrongBlock has stepped in over 18 months ago now. So in the whole DeFi space, they're a bit of an OG now because things have been going for quite a while, much longer than most. And they set up a system that was going to provide real rewards for node operators. And since their success over the last 18 months, many other platforms, many, are proclaiming to be offering nodes. Nodes is actually, if you type in DeFi nodes, man, there's like dozens of projects now. And all different types, actually. But when you dig a bit deeper, do they actually provide any real blockchain connection to node operators? And no, they don't. In fact, we should ask in the comments, anybody who can challenge this and say, yes, I found one that actually does do that apart from StrongBlock. Please let us know. Please let us know if you can find one other node operating platform that does real rewards on-chain to node operators. As far as I'm concerned, and from what I can see, StrongBlock is pretty much the only one. The others, I'm not saying those aren't good, and maybe they're in a process of doing that. They could well be. But I think many of them actually, to be honest, are kind of just piggybacking on this phrase, this word that's it's a buzzword now in the DeFi space, nodes. And StrongBlock really pioneered that. And they, because they've been offering a crazy lucrative rate of almost 1% per day. It's 0.092, basically. So that obviously is what got people's interest. That was what. So you buy the Strong, you set up a node, and back in the day when they first started, $50 per Strong token, you needed 10 of them. So it was like less than $1,000, $500 to set up you needed 10 of those tokens to set up your node, and then you start earning passively on that. So it would take you about 110 days to get the money back. But now, with it hovering constantly around $400 or $500 or $600, depending upon the day, and it's like $4,000 to $6,000, and they even got up to a high of $1,200. So that was like $12,000 for a while.
Yeah, I saw that. It just bounces around a lot, and of course, even if you're getting 1% per day, if the token price is trending down like it is now, you're not really making 1% because you're paid in Strong, aren't you?
Correct. This is a good point. And that's even following on from any of these DeFi projects, which many of us love this idea. Actually, most people would love the idea of getting passive income, just kind of your tokens sitting there earning for you for doing, basically you're not doing any active work for that. But like that only works if they remain stable or go up a bit or a lot. If they go down, and if they go down more, then if you're getting 1% a day, which is a crazy rate, and call that 7% for a week. So if your token goes down by more than 7% in a week, you haven't made anything. You've lost money.
The other issue I have with it is you have to spend, $5,000 up front, and you're never getting that money back, right? It's not, and you can't even trade the node from what I understand. Can you sell or trade that node?
No, you can't. So that is also very interesting. So apparently they are bringing updates. This is a platform that does bring innovation. And I'm not affiliated at all with StrongBlock. I have never actually spoken to the core team. I've not spoken to the founder. Am I an investor in it? Yes, actually, full disclosure, I am. And yes, I got in at a price point considerably less than where it is right now. So for me, it's been a winner. and I got in more than 110 days ago, which means that it has definitely been a winner. And how it was positioned to me was it was actually also around the team. The team had a lot of credibility, and that they were docked, as they would say these days. They're fully, their ID was visible. And not only that, but they'd come from, the core team had actually come from executives from EOS. So, I mean, regardless of what people think about EOS, they were the biggest ICO, and they definitely broke new ground. And this team seems to have broken away from EOS, because EOS has not been really doing a lot in the space that everybody's thrilled with. They're kind of not doing a lot. So who knows? Maybe this team broke away. They were like, well, we're bored of EOS, this little crew. And maybe they did that. I don't know what was driving them, but they went off and they built this little team, built StrongBlock, and it's been going strong since the end of 2020 when they launched. But yeah, the way they set it up, you have to buy 10 strong to set up a node. You pay it in, and it's gone. So now you've got a node, which at the moment you can't sell. And people ask them, are they going to add that feature? And I think there might be some indicators that maybe, a huge maybe, but they haven't done that yet. So there's no definitive roadmap that says, yes, you'll be able to sell your nodes. So currently, no, you can't. So that means currently you can't get your money back, except you get this dripped back to you at almost 1% a day. That, as you said, if it maintains price, you get it back in 110 days. But if not, it halves in price.
If it maintains its price, it's a good deal. If it, for some reason, goes down, you could be in trouble pretty quickly, and you just sunk $5,000 per node into it, which, like you said, you may or may not get back. Assuming the price stays where it is, you should be okay after, I don't know what the factor is, maybe three months, maybe, until you get your money back.
Yeah, if it stays at the current price, as I said, it's about 110 days. So here's how it works. If it halves in price, like it has done before, it would take 220 days. If it doubles in price, like it has done before, you get it back in 50 days.
Well, it seems interesting to me. It seems a little risky given what I've seen with some of these other projects.
The crazy bit for someone to realize is that the way they've built it currently, it doesn't stop. The 1% doesn't stop. If you've held that for a year or two, so two years, it's like, 720 days. It means you've got 720%. It's pretty wild.
But it's it's like Venezuela to me. If the underlying money isn't worth anything and you're being paid in Venezuelan dollars, then who cares? It could be 10,000%. It doesn't matter. So you got to have a lot of faith in the token price, and I just don't know what's keeping that price up. Is there a methodology to it, or is it just people trading it, or what? Is there that much demand for it?
Well, I mean, a good place to always go and have a look is CoinGecko for the current. I mean, you can just easily look this token up and see what its current. Let's have a look at what it's ranked 461 in market cap at the moment. As of today's recording, it's $390. So it's fallen back a bit. The market has fallen back in the last 24 hours as we're recording this. And its trading volume, well, according to CoinGecko, is over 13 million per day, 24-hour trading volume.
Yeah. So there's a lot of buying and selling, and assuming it's not strong themselves, because I've seen a lot of that, where they act as both buyer and seller just to show volume. It's still probably significant. The volume's pretty significant. It has been trending down over the last, 3 months.
So here's some interesting things just to consider, is that this is what's odd about it. They have a maximum supply of 528,000 tokens. That's it. So that's not very many. 500,000 tokens. That's all that this platform has. And they're not making any more. So it's this circular community that they have these percentages that they pay out to the people who are staking. And a lot of people ask, how can this be sustainable? You're not minting. There's a whole lot of other DeFi platforms out there that keep minting more tokens, and that's how they pay them out. That's how Wonderland worked. There's no cap. So hang on. StrongBlock has a cap, and not very many of them at that. And they just keep circulating around this little group of investors. And people, rightly so, ask, how long can this? But here's the thing, like, I mean, there's 31 on Etherscan. It says there's 31,000 wallets that have got StrongBlock. Me being one of them, and it's been working like a treat, as far as I'm concerned. But that means, and it would be, let's say hypothetically, no advice here, can't recommend this to everybody, but if you did buy it and you bought it at today's price, less than $400, and remember its previous high was 1,200. It's got a solid team, solid development. Could it get back up there? Let's just imagine it did. Let's say it doubled, got back to 800, and 3 months goes by. So you've made your money back. And because how does it work? You actually literally, here's some other crazy things about it though. When you log into the platform, you see your node, and you have to press a button called claim. This is the other crazy bit. This is what makes the platform interesting and kind of tricky. It's all on Ethereum. So when you click claim, you have to pay gas. And so you are not claiming you're strong every day. No way. It's going to cost you $100 a day. It'd be, that's costing you more in gas than what you're earning. So then what? You wait a week, depending on how many blocks, how many nodes you have. If you only have one node, you're not going to be claiming that once a week. So the idea of compounding, you're not going to be compounding. You might wait a few weeks to go by, checking the gas price, and then you click claim, and then you'll have made, I don't know, maybe you'll wait until you get one strong. How long is that going to take? A few weeks to get your $500. So then you get that back. If you had a whole bunch of them, like if you have a whole bunch of nodes, then yeah, you'll be probably claiming them. So when you click claim, it can be, I think it's roughly, I don't know, it can be about $50 per node, or thereabouts.
Why do they build it on Ethereum and not like something like Polygon or?
They've now opened up Polygon nodes.
Avalanche.
They have opened up Polygon nodes. So they're actually bringing on other chains. However, the Polygon nodes are still priced, all the gas fees are in Ethereum. So there are some things about this that even though you're doing Polygon at the moment, you're still paying all the fees on Ethereum gas prices. So that's something else to consider. So you are being hit, and they know this, and they say that they're building their own StrongBlock chain. They're going to release a chain. Now, I think lately, because I've seen the price was trending up actually quite nicely the last few weeks, and then the more they talked about the new chain that's going to be coming out and these new additions, I saw there was a bit of a sell-off and the price was going down, which, as I was mentioning to you, I wonder, is it a case that when platforms like this make big changes, do people get a bit jittery and they move to the sidelines to wait and see how it pans out? But it could be great. They might, imagine this, imagine that they launch their own blockchain with super cheap fees, add on Polygon at reduced gas fees for Polygon, Ethereum, and then they've got the Ethereum 2, and they add more chains on. StrongBlock could go through the roof because they're providing a real service to node operators out there.
And what exactly is that service to node operators? I mean, you're just buying one. Who's really running it?
No, it's actually, you have to have all these nodes all across Ethereum. And so there's all these nodes out there, and it's very techy. This part of it's very techy.
That's why I'm asking, because I'm not.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, so this is strongblock.com, and they've got like a nice little intro, nodes as a service, NAS, that's what they're calling it. Also, there are a lot of scammers. Nothing to do with StrongBlock, because people know how popular it is, and there are all these people who pretend. And so if you're not careful with your wallet, your MetaMask, it's all hinged upon your MetaMask. And if you lose your keys or it gets compromised, they also don't have an easy mechanism to save all of your nodes. What if you have a whole bunch of nodes and then you get hacked or something? Now, that is unlikely. MetaMask actually is, as far as I'm concerned, very secure, so long as nobody else has your private keys or your passwords or your passphrase.
Yeah.
But if they got that, it'd be terrible for your nodes.
I like to know what I'm investing in before I invest too. That's the other thing. If I don't understand it, I just don't do it. Ethereum's very easy to understand. It's a platform. You can build on top of it. It's very expensive now with gas fees. They're claiming, with L2 that they're going to significantly reduce fees. We'll see. But people continue to use it. It's unbelievable to me that they did, but they are, and you got to face reality. So I'm not going to fight it. So for me, it makes sense. Ethereum makes sense, but StrongBlock at this point, for me, doesn't make sense. I know that you're doing well with it. I see the APYs, but I saw it with time too.
Yeah. Like this is their article, Node Guidelines for StrongBlock DeFi Protocol, September 2020. StrongBlock, it no longer supports actually, as of early 2021 actually. So this is actually a couple of years ago. You could actually bring your own node, and they've canceled that.
Crazy. And they would run it for you or something.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are helping run the node and be compensated and all that. But you had to purchase it yourself. And then I think they give you part of the rewards in the form of their own tokens. That's how it worked.
Yeah. And look, they are even looking at bringing Phantom over as well. Phantom, Sentinel. They're bringing a lot of chains.
Yeah. All right. Well,
But it doesn't sound like you're convinced.
I'm not yet, because I got to understand exactly what it is. And then I'm always looking for, okay, 1% per day. I'm looking for the scam. How is it sustainable?
Yeah, like I'll turn that off.
Unless they're making a fortune, with these nodes, and they're using, instead of raising money to run a bunch of nodes, they're using your capital, my capital, everyone else's capital. Just a weird way of doing it. If they've got such a good game going, just raise a bunch of money from VCs.
Some people have said that. Some people have asked, is this just, moving it around?
But this way they have a token, and the owners can have the token to sell off and make even more money instead of waiting for a big payday through an acquisition. So that's probably why they're doing it. It's why I would do it. But the value they create has got to be there.
The question may be and I am pro the platform myself. I think they've done a very good job. And I like the way that they've been running the community. They've been above board with everything. So I've actually, unlike a whole lot of other platforms that have been all over the place, these guys, they deliver. They keep them, they're not over-delivering, as in that they're not declaring stuff that they haven't pushed out yet. They seem to be very modest and practical and realistic in what they're doing. So, but when it boils down to an investment, like you're saying, let's say you had $10,000, you put it in, you get yourself 2 nodes or whatever. You don't have that anymore, but you're getting this amazing almost 1% a day. Are there other DeFi platforms where you get to keep the money, the capital, and get that 1% a day? And yes, there are. Have they been running as long as StrongBlock? No. Do they have fully audited contracts necessarily? Not always. Do they have a team that everybody knows that are legit and real people? No. So then you go, okay, so StrongBlock, the team is real, you know who they are, they've been running for more than 18 months, they keep on delivering this. There are other platforms where you don't lose your capital, your upfront capital, as well as getting 1%, but then you have to weigh up those pros and cons.
Yep. But the problem is you buy a node, you don't get to resell it or keep it or bring it with you. That's the big problem I have. One of the major problems, a big investment up front.
Now that you're just talking about being able to sell nodes, there's a very super new platform that I just noticed, and highly risky, obviously, like all of the stuff. StrongBlock, anything in DeFi is crazy risky. Everything in crypto is. This one's called Universe Money, and you set up nodes. They're just copying on this bandwagon of the nodes, but you make a planet. You make a planet, and you allocate tokens into it, but the planet becomes an NFT. So the node is an NFT that you can trade on an NFT marketplace. So that was clever. I'll give them that.
Yeah. It's different. What does the NFT look like? If it's a node, what does that look like?
It's got this picture of a planet on it. You have a planet on the node.
Oh, you have a planet that's also a node.
Yeah.
It's just getting crazy. It's getting crazy. But at least it makes more sense because you could trade it.
Yeah, and it's been going for about 4 weeks. So that's the next thing.
Maybe next time we'll talk about that.
Well, here's the crazy thing. It's just comparing that. So you go, okay, so do I want to jump into things early? Like if you had got into StrongBlock in the first 4 weeks, you'd have price appreciation now. But then you keep waiting until what? You got wait until, okay, I want to see how. So then you have to weigh all these things up. And nobody knows who the team is behind Universe. They're all anonymous. Are they some 16-year-olds in a basement making bank? You see, it's just a lot of different things to consider.
Very interesting. All right, with that, and I do think we should do Universe next, especially since it's so young. With that, Barnaby, Mr. Andersun, glad you could join us. We got to do it again.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everyone. Great to see you today.
Thank you.